But if we can get everybody's attention as the speakers come up, they're donating their time tonight to come share some wisdom with us. And I hope that something that they say reaches you and touches your heart and helps you be more appreciative of life, makes you better, and that you grow from the experience. So please put your hands together. We have, I'm going to say their names first. I hope I say them right. Justin Sandler. We have Justin Sandler here, everybody. Awesome story. He just produced his first movie on Amazon. Am I correct? On Amazon Prime. And it's called Welcome to Where You've Always Been. Amazing story. I can't wait to watch it. When you hear the theme, it's a very creative theme. But he's here tonight to share a story. I just met him right now. Amazing energy. I also want to give it up to Wendy Sanchez, everybody. Wendy's somewhere around here. Right over here. And then we have one more person, Miss Stephanie Whitfield. Where's Stephanie? Right over there. So, put your hands together for our speakers for the evening, everybody. Please stand up. Please stand up. Please stand up. Put your hands together for our speakers this evening. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you for the great introduction. My name is Justin Sandler. Big thanks to George and Jen for the event, for bringing me on board. Araceli, thank you for inviting me to speak tonight. It was so great that we were able to connect so long ago. Well, not that long ago, but long enough that this came to fruition. So I'm going to get right to it here, because I know we got a lot of fun to have. I've spoken in front of a few people so far, definitely not as good looking as a crowd as this one, bunch of ghouls and goblins tonight. So, hey, listen, I was working really hard in my life, in my career. Like you said, I put a film out, building my studio. My wife and I have a production studio. We were building it up and producing projects. I was growing my musical career as a drummer. I'm an actor. And life was going quite well in the last few years. I was doing a lot of personal development, a lot of self-realization, and I feel like I was really on the right track. Life was going well. I've been plant-based since 2011 and physically in fitness, working very hard. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of last year, I was even competing in a gym challenge and playing flag football. I mean, like, I was on top of my game, and I felt like everything was going great, and I was really ready to kick it up to the next level. So it was a complete shock to me when I was told that I had cancer. It came completely out of nowhere, just like it usually does. You know, you think, I'm healthy, life is going great, and all of a sudden you get a diagnosis, and it just hits you out of nowhere. What did I do? I was so healthy, I was so conscious, but not all cancers are created from the environment. So what happened with me is I found out that I had a tumor. It was almost 14 centimeters long. It was growing directly into my heart. It was stuck to my lung and a bunch of other stuff in my chest. When we found it, they were worried I was going to have a heart attack because it was pushing so hard. So there was no time to play around. The actual cancer, just to educate whoever's interested, is called a germ cell. Everybody has a germ cells in their body. It's when we're just little embryos developing inside a mom, they travel down the embryo and they're what creates male or female, and that gives us our reproductive abilities. Every now and then a germ cell goes rogue and doesn't make it all the way down. Mine just stayed dormant behind my chest wall. And all my life I never knew. One day something woke it up and it started to duplicate very rapidly until boom, there was a massive tumor invading in my heart. There was no time to waste, so within 3 days of my diagnosis, I moved into UCLA Hospital. I had to get a port installed right here. I was on 3 different types of chemotherapy, 24 hours a day for a week at a time. And then I got to go home and rest a little bit, and then back for another round. Each progressive round kicked my ass just a little bit more. After the first round, all my hair fell out. My body started to look a little different. I started to feel a little bit different, and trust me, it was not easy. But I'm really happy that I had done some of the personal work already, because when everything struck, I was ready to go deep, and I knew I had to go deep. And I went inside through meditation, through chanting, through self-introspect, and I had to make a decision right away. I knew I had to make a decision. You know, I was really used to living my life as a victim. Really wasn't a stranger to that sort of mentality. But I knew right then and there, Justin, you gotta make a decision, buddy. Big decision was I gotta be a victor this time and not a victim. So I gotta take things a little bit differently when I move forward, because cancer happened to me, I didn't create it. But you know what, I could take some responsibility. I could step in and figure out a different way to go about it and a different way to understand it. I was very blessed that I was given a gift of I guess you can call it a channel, a programming from spirit, from guide, from whoever you want to call it. I was given 3 sayings, 3 phrases that I put together in one. And before I tell you those phrases, I want to tell you that finding out that I had this set me up to benefit in a way that I never thought I would. It set me up to have something that I have to work through and work towards. Most people were saying to me, Justin, fight it, man, kick its ass. A lot of people say F cancer, right? Yeah. That didn't work for me though. Going to war, going to violence, going to something physical against something that's in my body. Remember, this is my cells, right? This is part of me. It's inside of me. How can I portray negative energy or hatred as something that was part of me and part of who I was? I said, no, there's a different way. So those 3 words in that saying became embrace cancer, love cancer, free cancer. I knew right away that number 1, I had to embrace my situation and say, this isn't my fault, this has happened, but it's not happening to me. It's happening through me. I am experiencing it. I can't control what happened, but I can certainly control what I do now. I can control how I react. I can control what I do next, and I can take responsibility for how I may have contributed, which is going to give me some of the power back. I said, okay, Justin, I have cancer, I embrace it, I accept it. That's a big part that a lot of people don't get past, is the acceptance of it. Once I was there, I was clear that I could move forward with my treatment. The second part was, how do I treat it? What do I do next? Love cancer. Again, the hatred and the violence, I mean, where in the world have you seen hatred and violence lead to anything positive or good? It doesn't. No one wins in wars. So I ain't gonna go to war with my body, I'm gonna stay in love. I radiated love, I radiated peace. I spoke to my cancer. I felt like this tumor became another part of my being. And I literally spoke to it and said, I love you, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you and the gifts that you are my mentor. Because I'm learning more than I've ever learned before. But I also said, bro, you gotta go because both of us can't survive this together. So I visualized the cells gently, peacefully, letting go one by one, dying off slowly one by one, and letting themselves just release easy and effortlessly, and staying in that place of love. Now, it was not easy. I got sick, I felt horrible, I suffered tremendously. After the 3 months of doing chemo, I was wrecked. And that wasn't even the end of it at that point, because now I had a big dead rock of a tumor inside of my chest. So I had to go under the knife on August 4th. I had a tremendous 8-hour-long surgery that left me with this. They had to saw me open, they had to remove half of my lung, they had to remove part of my heart wall and replace it with Gore-Tex, they had to rebuild my superior vena cava with cow tissue. There was a lot of other things that happened as well. It was really invasive, and the recovery from that was insane. And after 2 months, I thought I'd be fine. And then my heart started to collapse inside of its own sac. There are some complications that happened 2 months later. 12 more days in the hospital, almost died, 2 heart surgeries later. And that put me right up to December 28th. At that point in time, I had been through 5 surgeries and 3 months of chemo. I had spent almost 50 nights in the hospital. But as of January of 2018, my doctors did officially declare me cancer-free. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. Even on the other side of cancer, it still hasn't been easy. I mean, I thought going through cancer wasn't going to be hard, but trying to find a way to live the new normal with less than I used to have physically, with scars all over me, with new hair growing and just ridiculous curls, which it wasn't like before. Everything is different now, and trying to find my way back to work, back to producing films, back to my careers, without the same energy, without the same ability to do what I did is challenging, and it can weigh on my mind and my body. But what happens is I go back to those same things that got me through cancer, that got me through the hardest times. And there's a lot more I could give you, but this is the most important part, and I know I gotta be brief tonight. Embrace cancer, love cancer, free cancer. That is a way to overcome the obstacle of cancer. The obstacle and the challenges that we are faced with in life are gifts. Every time we're faced with a challenge or an obstacle, that is an opportunity for us to grow. The bigger the obstacle, the bigger the benefit. And guess what? When you benefit, when you are able to grow and benefit, it's not just about you. Because the bigger the growth, the bigger the benefit, the more people you can impact. And through going through my journey, my goal and my hope in life, and my biggest dedication now is spreading the message and trying to help those going through it. Trying to help as many people as I can, because this will continue to affect 1 in 4 people. It is going to affect the caregivers, and it's going to affect the friends and the family members of those who go through cancer. And you know what? It's not easy for anybody, especially the caregivers out there. If you come across a caregiver, give them props. If you are a caregiver, I give you props, because you are amazing human beings. So what I have to say is, and I'm going to leave you with this: embrace cancer, love cancer, free cancer. Just take the word cancer out. Whatever you are going through in life, tell them to hang on a second. This is important. Whatever you are going through in life, whatever challenge it is that you have to overcome, embrace it. Stay in a place of love and peace. And finally, when you reach the end of it, like I did with my cancer, just free it and let it go. Thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, Justin.
Did that not touch your heart? Wow. Wow. So positive after something like that, right?